More than 100 people a month take their own lives here in Arizona. That's more than 1,200 a year. The national suicide rate is a horrifying 44,000 plus. Saturday, Rotary Park was the scene of a suicide prevention walk. We talked with Bob Feliciano, chairman of this year's event, and a man who has personally felt the tragedy of suicide.
I've been involved in suicide prevention now for over 8 years. I don't like the word, but I'm a survivor. My son took his life while a student at UC Santa Barbara 8.5 years ago. And I moved here full-time. I retired as a professor back in LA. Moved here full-time a year ago, June, and I started reading the local paper, and I noticed that we had a 16-year-old take his life. And then I checked, and we had another 16-year-old 8 months before. I didn't pay any attention. I didn't plan on being involved in walks in Havasu. And then in January, the local paper had an article where it talked about Doug Palin, a psychologist for the school district, and he mentioned that people were thinking about having a walk. So as a former detective, I found Doug in January. We talked, and in April we had our first meeting, and this is what we have. You know, when you say about hearing deaths, suicide deaths have now exceeded breast cancer deaths. We're number 10 on the top 15 as far as cause of death. Young people, ages 14 to 24, it's the number 3 killer. College students, the number 2 killer. Vets. Every 22 minutes a vet takes his life in this country. And as a former cop, I never realized it's the number 1 killer of police officers. You're safer in the ghettos of the United States than you are at home with your own gun. That's unacceptable. I think creating awareness, that's what it's all about. People don't want to talk about suicide. They're embarrassed if they lose someone. I'm not embarrassed. My son was a strong kid. I'll never have an answer. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but we just had a lady take her life. No explanation, no note, and that was Monday, excuse me. So I guess I'm going to be doing walks in Havasu till the day I die.
Are the figures for Havasu outside of the norm?
Well, you have to look at, like, for veterans in Arizona, Mojave County is the number 3. We're a little above average for our community, but the elderly are actually the biggest victims of suicide. You're 80 years old, you lose your significant other, you just don't want to live anymore, so they end it. But like I said, life is worth living. When you lose a child, it's the worst thing in the world. When you lose a child to suicide, it's even worse because you never have an answer, and you ask yourself all the time, should've, could've, would've, and there's no answers. One of my goals and objectives is to have a survivors group here in Havasu. I mean, when you talk about heaven sent, the Havasu Community Health Foundation, we're partners with them now, and like I told the group, you guys are heaven sent, and I have a room full of angels. With their help, I think we can set up a survivors group where people can come and talk, because you don't want to have anything in common with me when it comes to suicide. You want your family to live forever. So there's suicide hotlines. We have it on our webpage. The foundation has it on their webpage. There's 24-hour hotlines across the nation, and we have it here. Part of our program is to train trainers on how to deal with stressful situations. So that's one of our goals also. One of the things I'd like to say is this community is great. The outreach, the people supporting us, has just been a great experience for me and the group.
For more information, contact the Community Health Foundation. Jim Matthews, Havasu Video News.